Imagine for a moment that your mind is like an ancient Japanese garden, a space that should be one of peace, silence, and reflection, where water flows serenely and every stone is in its proper place. However, today, this garden is a whirlwind. The water in your spring is muddy and choppy, the wind rustles the leaves of the trees restlessly, and a constant din of racing thoughts prevents you from hearing the birdsong. You try with all your might to find peace, but with each attempt to tidy up the garden, the mess only seems to grow. The modern mind works exactly like this. You try to resolve your anxiety and existential emptiness with more effort, more rumination, more thinking, when in reality you are only increasing the internal noise. It's a perverse and terrifying cycle, because the very tool you use to free yourself is the one that imprisons you the most. The brutal truth is that overthinking is not a virtue or a sign of intelligence. It's not a way to prepare for life. It's an addiction, a destructive cycle that steals your peace, drains your vital energy, and invisibly paralyzes you. People who believe they're solving their life by overthinking are actually paralyzing themselves, creating a mental labyrinth from which escape seems impossible. With each new worry, each new scenario you try to anticipate, you're not protecting yourself. You're exhausting yourself. The labyrinth becomes more intricate, and with each turn, the feeling of exhaustion, loneliness, and lack of purpose deepens. You feel trapped, with no way out, in an endless race. In this video, we'll delve into the timeless wisdom of the East to uncover why overthinking is the greatest trap of our age. We'll reveal a time-tested solution, one that Buddha himself taught, to free yourself from the mental labyrinth. We'll show you how ancient masters, who didn't have social media or email, already understood the root of our anxiety and left us a clear roadmap to liberation. You'll learn not only what to do, but also why your mind works against you and how you can finally break this cycle. Get ready, because what we'll explore here can transform the way you relate to your own thoughts forever, guiding you back to the peace and purpose you so desperately desire. Take a break. Look at your life and notice how much energy you expend trying to anticipate every scenario, solve every potential problem, and internally debate every decision. The modern mind is a tireless workhorse, but in many cases, it functions as an internal saboteur, not an ally. This is the great irony of our time. We pride ourselves on being deep and strategic thinkers, but what many of us do is actually superficial rumination that moves us away from clarity rather than toward it. The mind, when not being used as a conscious tool, becomes a restless monkey, leaping from branch to branch without rest. It jumps from one worry to the next, never finding a resting place. This overthinking is not wisdom. It is a constant noise that prevents us from listening to the stillness necessary to find true answers. How Buddha reminds us in his teachings, uncontrolled thinking is the root of dissatisfaction. He identified, millennia ago, the source of the suffering we know today as modern anxiety. It's the same principle, a universal pain that transcends time and cultures. The wisdom of Shantideva adds, an undisciplined mind creates invisible suffering, just like a wild horse that drags its rider wherever it wants, not where the rider needs to go. People who believe they are solving their lives by overthinking, when in fact they are paralyzing themselves, live in a vicious cycle of mental and emotional exhaustion. The video's promise is clear, to reveal how ancient masters offered timeless solutions to the mental maze we now call overthinking. Welcome to Axiom Sage, your refuge and your compass amidst the chaos of modern life. This is not just another self-help channel. It is an emotional and philosophical safe haven, a space carefully crafted for you, the modern spiritual seeker, who feels overwhelmed, anxious, and without purpose. We understand the pain of a mind that won't shut up, of a spirit that yearns for something deeper than the relentless pursuit of success and validation. Our mission is to translate the ancient wisdom of the East, from masters like Buddha, Lao Tzu, and the samurai, to the universal pains of modern life, offering timeless solutions that are practical, dogma-free, and completely devoid of superficial promises. Here, your exhaustion, anxiety, and existential emptiness are not seen as weaknesses, but as a call to transformation. We believe that true strength lies in finding peace in the eye of the storm. Our purpose is to create a clear, solid, and reliable bridge so you can move beyond theory and find the clarity of purpose, emotional balance, and spiritual discipline your soul so desperately seeks. Through inspiring metaphors, ancient parables, and transformative practices, we will guide you on a journey where knowledge becomes a living tool, a force you can apply in your daily life to shape your mind and spirit. This is an invitation to awaken. This is Axiom Sage. If you feel like your mind is always racing, like a hamster on a never-ending wheel, if your peace is a rare visitor, or if fear of the future has stolen your joy in the present, know that you are not alone. Your pain is real, deep, and unfortunately, it is the symptom of an entire era. Our lives are overwhelmed by a multitude of decisions, an incessant flow of information, and an ocean of worries that seem never-ending. It's almost as if we've been trained to overthink, to the point of believing this is the only way to live a meaningful life. We confuse the quantity of thought with the quality of our existence. What we will reveal today, however, is that, rather than being a sign of wisdom or progress, this constant rumination is a clear sign that something is fundamentally out of alignment in your mind and spirit. The good news, the only news that truly matters, is that it doesn't have to be this way. And the solution to this lies not in adding more effort, but in understanding the workings of your own consciousness. Ancient wisdom, so often neglected, offers us a clear map to liberation. And the solution to this mental trap, this exhaustion of living in a maze of thoughts, lies in 4 key points that we will now unravel together. The invisible error of confusing thinking with solving, the false sense of control, the mind's addiction to dopamine, the ancient practice to find clarity. Now we come to our first point, and perhaps the most crucial of our entire journey. It is the starting point, the revelation that can disarm the mechanism of all your anxiety. Most of us live with a deeply ingrained belief, a silent dogma imposed on us by society, the belief that thinking more equals finding answers, equals progress, equals control. We have been taught to see the mind as a machine that, the more it operates, the more results it produces. This is the basis of our modern world of productivity and exhaustion. But what ancient wisdom whispers to us is that this belief is not true. It is, in fact, one of the most dangerous illusions there is. And it is a trap, a prison that you help to build. The ancient masters, with a clarity that only practice and deep observation can give, knew that this relentless pursuit of more thought was a dangerous illusion. They understood that the mind, when left to operate without direction, becomes a factory of illusions, fears, and worries that serve no purpose other than to distance us from our own inner peace. This is the mental trap that paralyzes us, leaves us exhausted, and prevents us from truly living. What you are about to discover is not just a concept, but a tool to diffuse this illusion and finally find the clarity your soul craves. We live under a delusion that makes us believe that by stirring the waters of our minds, we will find what lies at the bottom. It's an act of desperation, a belief that the solution to our confusion is more confusion. But this is a fundamental error, a conflict between what we think we're doing and what we're actually causing. Modern neuroscience, echoing the ancient wisdom of millennia, shows us that overthinking isn't the key to clarity. It's actually the root cause of our mental fog. Constant rumination activates the worry circuit and fear in our brain, not that of solution and serenity. Instead of clearing our path, the agitated mind only blinds us, preventing us from seeing reality objectively. It's like the metaphor of Buddha, who compared a troubled mind to a murky lake, trying to clear the troubled water by stirring it even more. The result is exactly the opposite of what we want. The water becomes even murkier, and you can't see anything, just more noise, more anxiety. We're not solving problems. We're perpetuating a cycle of turbulence. This is the great conflict we need to understand to free ourselves. The action we think is the most logical, thinking more, is actually the action that sabotages us the most, deepening our state of exhaustion and keeping us prisoners of our own thoughts. There's a subtle and dangerous cultural trap that makes us believe that worry is a form of preparation. It's as if we're sold the idea that if you're not overwhelmed by worries, you're not adequately preparing for the future. That a constant level of anxiety is a sign of responsibility, and that you truly care about the outcome of your life, your work, your relationships. We mistake inner turmoil for prudence. But this belief is one of the most harmful lies we've been told. What the wisdom of masters like Shantideva teaches us is that an undisciplined mind creates invisible suffering, just like a wild horse that, without reins, drags its rider wherever it wants, not where the rider needs to go. You may be standing, but you're being dragged. You may be living, but you're being pulled to exhaustion. The undisciplined mind runs amok, creating imaginary worries and fears that never materialize, but which exhaust you as if they were real. This is the great revelation. Overthinking it is not clarity, it is not wisdom, it is not preparation. It is self-sabotage disguised as prudence. It's a habit that gives us a false sense of control, while in reality, it paralyzes us. But if overthinking doesn't help us solve problems, what is it doing? It's giving us a false sense of control over a future we can never fully control. This is the second point we need to understand. We've reached the heart of our journey. Your pain, this anxiety that paralyzes you, often stems from a single powerful source: the fear of not being able to control the future. It's the fear that something unexpected will happen, that you'll be caught off guard. Overthinking is your brain, desperately trying to create a detailed map of every possible scenario, every obstacle, every potential disaster. It tries with all its might to predict the unpredictable, and in its attempt to protect itself, it suffocates you. What will happen if I don't plan every step, every detail, every possible scenario? Is the question that fuels the cycle of rumination. Eastern wisdom shows us the path to transformation, but it requires an act of courage, an act that goes against all your modern intuition, the act of release control. Shantideva, with overwhelming simplicity, teaches the logic behind serenity. If there is a solution, why worry? If there isn't, what's the point of worrying? This is the wisdom that dismantles our illusion. Modern psychology calls this the illusion of control, the belief that anticipating scenarios protects us, when in fact, it only creates exhaustion and robs us of the present, the only place where life truly happens. And the most common mistake when trying to eliminate anxiety is precisely this: trying to plan too much, trying to control too much. The insight here, and it's a deeply counterintuitive one, is that the more we try to control what's beyond our reach, the more we lose the only moment we can truly impact, the now. This is the map for transformation. But there's a deeper reason the mind behaves this way, and it has to do with neuroscience. If you identify with this mental struggle, if the echo of ancient wisdom resonates in your spirit, and you feel the urgency to find a new way of living, this is an invitation. It's not just to watch another video, but to join a community of seekers. A conscious community that supports one another and understands the depths of modern pain. Subscribing to the channel isn't just a click. It's an act of intention. It's a deliberate step out of the maze of thoughts and toward a path of clarity, purpose, and peace. By signing up, you're telling us that you're ready for change, that you're ready to let go of what no longer serves you and embrace the wisdom that can truly transform your mind and spirit. It's the first step toward building a safe haven for your consciousness, a place where your journey is validated, supported, and encouraged. It's a step toward becoming a conscious and strong community, where your search becomes part of a larger movement of awakening. It's not about blindly following, but about finding the tools and companionship to illuminate your own path. Join us. Join this journey back to your essence, where each video is a guide, each teaching a compass, and each step a victory. Your registration is the first of many steps we will take together. Now that we understand the illusion of control, we need to unravel why our minds persist in this destructive habit. The answer, shocking and liberating, lies in our own neurochemistry. Modern studies show that the brain, addicted to possible thinking and constant worry, releases small, addictive doses of dopamine. This chemical, the neurotransmitter of pleasure and reward, creates a false sense of productivity, an illusion that we are actively doing something to solve our problems, even when we are simply ruminating. Every time you get lost in a cycle of worry, your brain registers it as a micro-reward, reinforcing the habit. This is the neuroscience behind our addiction to overthinking. Even though science only discovered this recently, Buddha already described this phenomenon millennia ago. He spoke of wheels of fire that burn incessantly, keeping the mind in a state of agitation and consumption of vital energy. He understood that the mind, when attached to thoughts, even if they are preoccupied, moves in a cycle of search and reward. The revelation is that overthinking is addictive not because it brings clarity, but because it brings micro-rewards, small doses of dopamine that make us feel like we're in control or that we're doing something. But in reality, it only robs us of the clarity, energy, and peace we truly need to act, to live, and to find true solutions. The good news is that you can break this vicious cycle of rumination. The key, as Buddha taught, is in the breath. Breathing isn't just air going in and out. It's the anchor that connects us, instantly and undeniably, to the only moment that truly exists, the present. I want you to try a simple, practical technique right now, one you can use at any moment of your day, no matter where you are. Call it the bamboo pause. When you feel overwhelmed by thoughts, stop. Before you respond to an impulsive email, before you make a decision under pressure, before you get lost in a loop of worry about the future, breathe. Just 3 conscious breaths. Close your eyes gently if you can, or just focus your gaze on a fixed point. On the first breath, feel the fresh air rushing through your nostrils, filling your lungs. Feel your chest expand. As you exhale, release not only the air, but also the tension in your shoulders and jaw. Release the urgency. On the second breath, feel the air entering more deeply, nourishing every cell in your body. As you exhale, imagine that you're releasing worries and anxiety, as if they were smoke rising from your lungs. Don't fight your thoughts. Just observe them, like clouds passing through the sky, without getting attached to them. On the third and final breath, feel the air coming in, and as you exhale, feel a calm settle within you. By doing this, you become like bamboo, which doesn't resist the wind, but bends, demonstrating mental flexibility rather than rigidity. Use this pause at work, in relationships, before any important decision. This small action can generate a huge transformation in your life, as it shifts your automatic response of fighting and worrying to one of simply being. Overthinking and incessant worry are like moving clouds in the sky. They come and go, sometimes darkening the day, other times gathering into a grey storm, and finally, they disperse. We habitually identify with these clouds, believing that our identity and being are made of fear, anger, and anxiety. But this is only the surface, the most turbulent part of our experience. Your true mind, your essence, is not the cloudy sky. Your true mind is the mountain, stable, silent, steadfast. The mountain does not fight the clouds, push them away, or try to control them. It simply stands, unshaken, as the clouds, the winds, and the storms of thought pass over it. Buddha said, "A trained mind is like a rock unshaken by the wind." And Shantideva, he added, "The patient practitioner becomes untouchable by mental chaos. Anxiety may arise, worry may try to overwhelm you, but you, the mountain, stand firm. Your deepest nature is to be the witness, the silent space where thoughts arise and dissolve. Ancient wisdom invites us to stop fighting the clouds and, instead, to reconnect with our mountain nature. Strength comes not from the ability to fight, but from the ability to simply be, to be the rock that does not move, the essence that remains intact, no matter how turbulent the weather. Now, I want you to stop for a second and honestly reflect on your own experience. Have you ever wondered why the same worry comes back to you again and again, like an insistent echo in your mind? Have you ever noticed how your mind keeps spinning in circles, stuck in place, as time passes and exhaustion grows? Think about the days when you spent hours in your own head, replaying past conversations, anticipating future scenarios, and in the end, realized you got nowhere, just felt more tired and overwhelmed. What if the answer to your anxiety isn't thinking more, planning more, or worrying more, but rather the exact opposite? Think less. What if your strength comes not from your ability to fight intrusive thoughts, to try to control them, or to try to force them away, but from your ability to let go of them, to let them go, to simply not give them your precious energy? What if the path to inner peace is as simple as learning to let go instead of holding on? This isn't a theory. It's an invitation to look at your own life and question the patterns that have led to exhaustion. It's an invitation to recognize the power you already have to disidentify from the chaos and reconnect with your essence. The freedom you so desperately seek isn't in the next thought you'll have, but in its absence, in the stillness that resides behind all the noise. Now, to put all the pieces of our mental puzzle together, let's get to the practical essence of our journey. Overthinking is not clarity. It's an illusion of control that, instead of protecting you, drains your vital energy and traps you in a cycle of exhaustion. It's a neurochemical addiction that gives us a false sense of productivity, keeping us trapped in a mental labyrinth of our own making. Ancient wisdom, so often ignored, offers us the key to liberation. Buddha and Shantideva remind us that the antidote to rumination is not to think more, but to let go and return to the present. The mind is not your master. It's a tool that, without discipline, acts like a wild horse. Modern neuroscience confirms this timeless truth. Reducing rumination and constant worry calms your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, and strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for clarity, focus, and conscious decision-making. The solution, therefore, is not complex. It's profoundly simple. The path to your inner peace isn't the next idea you'll have, but your ability to stop fighting and start breathing. The solution lies in letting go of the need for control, in letting go of identification with chaos, and finally, in being. Being the mountain, being the space through which thoughts pass, yet remaining unshaken. True power lies in your ability to return to the silence and simplicity of the present moment. And our journey of self-knowledge and liberation doesn't end here. True transformation happens when knowledge becomes experience, when wisdom ceases to be just an idea and becomes an action. Meditation is the action of sitting and observing. Practice is the action of taking the bamboo pause. And the next step, your next action, is sharing. I want to hear from you. What is your biggest struggle with overthinking? When is the moment of your day when the mental labyrinth becomes most intense? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story isn't just yours. It's a fundamental piece in building this conscious community. When you share your struggle, you not only find support, but also offer a mirror to others who feel alone in their own inner chaos. Your participation is what makes this space a true safe haven, a place where wisdom is not only transmitted, but lived and shared. Leave a comment and be part of this awakening movement. Together, we can go much further. While the world around you screams at you to worry more, to do more, to plan every second of your life in a frantic effort to achieve control, ancient wisdom whispers a radically different message. It whispers to you to stop, to calm down, to trust your intuition, your essence, the stillness that resides behind all the noise. Accepting and following this philosophy is not the easiest path, nor the most obvious. In fact, it is a profoundly countercultural act of courage. It is an act of silent rebellion against our age's addiction to anxiety and rumination. It is the path of wisdom, not one of exhaustion. And if you feel ready to take this courageous step, to live more intentionally and less reactively, now is the time to act. If what you heard in this video resonated with your soul and ignited a spark of hope, I have a request and an invitation. Share your intention for change and join this movement. Comment, "I've changed now," if you felt this transformation, if you're ready to embrace stillness and clarity. And so that your journey doesn't get lost in the noise, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next guides and teachings. Your subscription is a vote of confidence, a sign that you choose the path of peace over the path of chaos. Finally, take with you one last powerful metaphor. Don't fight your thoughts like you fight the wind. You don't need to confront it, push it away, or try to stop it. The wind will always blow. Instead, learn to be the space through which the wind passes. The wind is your thoughts, your worries, your fears. The space is your consciousness, your essence, your inner peace. You don't need to control the flow of your thoughts. You simply need to disidentify with them. When a worrying thought arises, don't grab it, don't analyze it, or chase it. Let it pass, like a cloud in the vast sky of your mind. The path to transformation is gradual and sustainable. It doesn't happen overnight, but with each conscious breath, each moment of pause, and each act of letting go, you are reconditioning your mind to find peace. Remember, the ultimate goal is not to have a mind empty of thoughts, but rather a mind undisturbed by them. When your mind is silent, your life can finally be heard. The path to wisdom awaits you. It doesn't require more effort, but more presence. We are here to walk it together, one step at a time.